Welcome to the Classy Podcast by Class 101. I'm Angela's son, and with me is Phoebe and Joshua of the webcomic Tori and Samuel.
So I'm Phoebe. I'm the artist for Bobblejot and the comic series Tori and Samuel.
I'm Joshua. I'm the writer of the series. Yeah.
I saw from your Instagram that you're based in Singapore, right? And you guys have a Japanese spit together.
Yeah, she's actually over here. She wants to come into
Let's see if she'll come. Okay, she's not really. Okay.
Yes, cool.
Oh my god, she's so cute.
Yeah, she's like slightly less than 2.
So cute. That's a cute family. I know we talked about what you did last weekend, but do you mind recapping what you like to do in your free time?
Actually, I don't do much else besides drawing. If I wasn't doing this full time, I would be drawing every day. If I'm not drawing Tori and Samuel, then I am drawing some other cute characters. Yeah, so things that inspire me. But basically, I am very rarely without my iPad and Apple Pencil.
Your job is your passion, is what you like to do,
Very
even
much,
after
very
the
much.
work hours. What about you, Joshua?
Actually, we do go out occasionally together. So yeah, going out to have a nice meal. And we also spend quite a bit of time watching Netflix. For me, it'll mostly also be Disney Plus because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So I like watching the stuff on Disney Plus.
Your class has been up on Class 101 for a while now. Are there any classes that would be interested in taking other than obviously your own?
For the longest time, I actually had my eye on this one class, which was draw in a Disney style or something like that.
Mhm.
I really like the artist style and everything. If I ever got the chance to, I would probably go for that class. Yeah, I'm actually quite passionate to see what's up there. And because it was actually one of the samples as well that was sent over to me when I was creating the classes. So
Mhm.
I saw the first 2 chapters or so, and it was actually really engaging.
Let's talk about Tori and Samuel a little bit. Could you introduce the comic?
It's about two good friends, Sam and
Yeah.
Tori. So Tori is a corgi, whereas Sam is a monkey. So Tori is the more energetic and lively one, whereas Sam is the wise, more patient one. And then we also recently introduced Cleo, who is there.
There's one over here.
Yeah. So it's basically about how they as characters are growing from interacting with each other.
Is the rabbit character? I didn't get her name.
Cleo is a very anxious bunny character who is actually quite shy. And we introduce her as a new character to show Tori and Sam's more nurturing side because Tori tends to be a little bit more energetic and very carefree. To see her being a more responsible, like big sister kind of character to Cleo, we found that it would be good for her to have this personal growth.
Yes.
That's
Is that based on
actually-
Lizzie?
Oh, Cleo or
Yes.
Tori? I think Tori is a lot like Lizzie, actually. If I really
Aw.
think about it. Yeah. Cleo is more like myself, and Sam is like the wise husband. Yeah. And then the wise husband and writer of the series.
I see. Isn't there also like a really tiny mouse character?
Yeah, we actually have really tiny characters.
Yeah, so we
as
have
well.
the three tiny characters, but they're to complement the main 3 talking characters.
Yeah, travel size buddies.
How did the story of Tori and Samuel come about? It's such a wholesome story. We touched on it a little bit, but is it based on your family?
Tori and Sam is definitely based on us, and also their values are also based on the values that we really want to share with the world. We always wanted to write a comic series ever since she started creating cute content. So yeah, it just came very naturally for us to write these stories by infusing our personalities in there.
So it actually started with a sketch on our part. Like I was drawing a little corgi character and we were saying, hey, that's actually cute. Let's run with that. So we drew one panel and had a standalone storyline in that one panel. And it seemed to be quite well received. So we decided to expand on it and have the maximum 10 panels on Instagram of comics. So that's how it slowly started to develop until it became what it is today.
In the introduction, you mentioned that Phoebe, you draw and paint, and Joshua, you write the stories for the comics. Could you elaborate on the process of delegating works and putting it all together?
I'll come up with a storyline, and then after that, I'll probably, because usually we just text each other the story. So I'll text her, like I'll break down what the 10 panels is supposed to look like. Then there's a bit of back and forth, and then after that she'll go and draw. She'll get everything done, and then she'll show it to me, the initial sketch. What happens is that it's never how I envision it in my head. Usually it's better actually. So After that, then I'll tell her like, oh, that's great. Or I'll give a little bit of feedback here and there. And then, yeah, she'll color and fill up the line and it's done. Sometimes she also tell me things like, oh, we haven't done trail story for a while, or we haven't done something heartwarming for a while. Or sometimes she'll just give input like, I would like to see this. Yeah, that's how we usually do our collaborations.
Sometimes we actually do dedicate like date nights to go somewhere nice, but at the same time discuss storylines. So how that usually works is that he will give, okay, I think Tori and Sam should be doing this, or Cleo and Tori should be interacting. How about we introduce this theme? And then on my part, I'll tell him, okay, in the panel, I imagine this to happen. Do you think the character should be doing something else? Or I think maybe this is too complicated to draw within the short time frame of the publishing schedule. So we should do something a little bit simpler. Yeah, so things like that will help me to align with him. And then after that, once we discuss it and we have a script, then that's when I take it. I do a sketch. I color out the final one within about 3 to 5 days. That's how it works for us.
Okay, so you guys bounce off ideas on each other and then you finalize the script together and then Phoebe works on the rest. Very interesting. I love how the story is just so wholesome. I just want to keep reading them because it makes my heart flutter to read about fluffy characters doing cute things. There's also like wisdom for life in the comics. So Joshua, how do you come up with those catchy, wholesome stories?
A lot of it is based on what we're doing, our lives, what we've been through. Some of it is also based on stuff that I see on TV, social media, things like that. It could be a teacher. So a lot of storyline come from my daily interactions with students, what I would like to see in them, what I felt as a teacher. But yeah, it's mostly our relationship, just that we kept it platonic instead of any kind of drama.
Let's talk about your class. What's the biggest reason for launching the webcomics course with us?
For me, I thought it might be interesting to launch a class because I think back then I was getting a couple of queries on like, how do you draw this or how do you create that? What is the inspiration behind this and that? So I thought, having a consolidated, comprehensive class might help to address all of this. And it's really good to be able to share with everybody else what I learned over many years. And if it's able to help them to create their own webcomics much faster or jumpstart something creative, it makes it all worth it. That's basically the reason why I started this course.
To help your followers. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
as much as possible.
It's amazing. Tell us about the course creation process. When did it launch again?
That's a good
And
question.
how long did it take to record everything?
Yeah, I remember we were given 3 months to do the entire series. I basically panicked towards the second month. Yeah, I think about 2 months, like all in all, like really hardcore recording. I never knew it was going to be so tedious or so difficult, but at the end of it, it is so satisfying.
So I'm not a digital artist, but I loved watching your classes. Your voice is so soothing, and I just loved watching you sketch and color. I kept watching more of your videos doing the background colors. Yeah, it's just really soothing to watch. So yeah, I can say that you guys did an amazing job recording all the
Oh, thank
chapters.
you.
Yes. My next question is about Medibang. I just wanted to hear a little bit about how you first got started working on this tool and what your preference about it is.
Actually, I started on Procreate and I can see why it's so popular because the interface is actually more sophisticated and intuitive than Medibang. But the one thing that made me jump over is basically the stabilizer. Procreate, while it has its own stabilizer, I find that it's something that's more comfortable for myself. And Procreate has a layer limit. So basically, it helps you to make sure that the app doesn't crash. So they put a limit of maybe about 19 layers for an A4 canvas. And I realized that I personally like to work with a lot of layers. Like I can go up to 100, 200 layers. It tends to make things a lot faster. Ultimately, it's based on whatever is most comfortable for you. So a lot of people still ask, is it okay to take a course in Procreate? And I would say yes, that is perfectly fine because everything in the course is more conceptual that you should do this exactly and you should do that.
To summarize, it's totally okay to take your class on Procreate. It was a personal preference because of the techniques used in drawing. Could you tell me what goes into creating cute proportions for animals and humans?
My own personal guideline is the head to body ratio should be about 1:1. So that tends to be the cutest in my opinion. And the idea behind Chibi is to make the character look as baby as possible. Babies have large forehead, big eyes, and they tend to have bigger heads. So that's actually what we are trying to create. Let's say fox with a bigger head, and you simplify everything, and the face is very compact. Yeah, that's essentially what most of the course will be teaching you, the chapters that teach you the proportions. And I think to make chibi work, a lot of times you have to stylize details. So you can't keep all the details that you want. You have to make objects bigger to make the character look smaller as well and cuter. Yeah, so basically baby like.
How do you give personality to character through the lines and also through the drawings?
I mean, mostly it's based on our personality. So we just try our best to figure out how we would actually react in that situation and what we would say. There's quite a number of times where it might be a bit too snarky because my personality can be a bit snarky and we have to moderate what are some of the things we say. But mostly it's really just writing down exactly what we would say as the different characters. That really makes it seem more authentic and people really do identify with them.
Sometimes while I'm drawing, I will look at myself in the mirror and okay, this is the expression that I want. Or I'll actually do the thing that they're doing. So instead of just having a character lying down, maybe the character, how does the leg go? If I were that character, would my legs be like close together? Or would my hands be all over the place? Or would I be holding my hands together in that situation? Things like that, I try to act it out before I draw it so that it makes it look as realistic or as organic as possible.
Yeah, and we use that as a reference quite often as well.
Sometimes.
Any tips on developing a color palette? It has a lot to do with the overall mood of cute characters.
For Tori and Samuel, I decided to go with something that's a bit softer and more pastel because of the nature of its heartwarming content. You'll feel a lot softer, warmer when you see the comics, whereas there are some comics that are more action packed. So thrilling scenes, they would have bolder colors. Maybe some might even push it to neon. So it's actually really dependent on what kind of content you want to push out or feelings that you want the audience to get. Do you want them
Mhm.
to be excited? Do you want them to be calm? Is it supposed to be a peaceful vibe? So I would definitely suggest the intensity of the colors to suit the mood of the scenes or the mood of
Mhm.
the comic.
Hypothetically speaking, if the mood of a webcomic is going to be the same throughout, like in the case of Tori and Samuel, do you have a color palette that you work from? A list of colors that you pull from, obviously for the characters, but also for backgrounds and such? So do you practice that? And what are your tips on like other aspiring webcomic artists who want to develop their own color palette?
I would suggest for other people who are trying to do this, if you have more time, please go ahead and go crazy with the colors. If you want to have different colors for every scene, it is fine. But personally, because I have a certain schedule to keep up with, so I prefer to have a fixed palette and I drop from there. A lot of the backgrounds, I will pull up the previous time I drew that background and now I'll just take all the colors from there. But definitely if you are trying to draw your own comic and you have more time, I would suggest thinking about the lighting and how this lighting will change the mood. Is it supposed to be dark? Is it supposed to be bright? Like the lights, are they gonna hit maybe the face because you want to focus on it? So things like that are quite important, which is something that I feel like I wasn't able to do much, but as much as possible, I try to play around with the shadows as well to help create this kind of moods and stuff.
So what I'm hearing is that yes, if you have the time for it, create a palette, but it's totally okay
Yeah,
to use a fixed palette. And another
yeah.
important thing that really affects the mood of the comics is lighting and shadow. Awesome. Okay. So if you want to draw or write or do anything creative, you obviously have good taste, you have high standards. And especially when you're a beginner, you're not going to be always happy with your results because of the good taste you have. So how do you close this gap? This is like one part of the question. And the second part is the first question in relation to creating original characters.
I actually did start off with what you would call like imitation because I did fan arts and I like to draw Pokemon, We Bears, and all this kind of Cartoon Network series as well. And I found that as I was drawing all of these fan arts, there were a couple of things that really stood out to me about certain characters. For example, let's say Pokemon like Pikachu. There's that proportion that I see that is really cute and the mannerisms, the chubbiness and everything. And I think to myself, okay, if I would create my own characters, is it possible to take all of these qualities and put it in my own characters? So instead of making the eyes two circles, maybe if you make it longer, somehow you can make it more expressive. And all of these things I think about while I'm drawing fan arts. And it is perfectly fine to actually reference artists. So reference as many artists as you want. Sorry, she's very distracting. And if you want to copy, that is perfectly fine. So just take whatever you think looks good. And over time, as you keep drawing your own characters, you will start to put in a lot of yourself. So your art style will become very unique to you. It just develops on its own. Just keep drawing and referencing. No matter how good you get, there will always be something to learn from someone else.
I love that, like, it'll come naturally, just keep practicing. My next question is about freedom within guidance, as in you showcase what you do and then you invite the classmates to practice on their own. I got the impression that we have freedom to be ourselves and draw or color whatever we want in the safe boundary of this like guidance I've provided for you. I'm not sure if your course on Class 101 is your first time teaching. I'm assuming that you've taught before that, either one-on-one or in small groups. Really? It was your first time teaching?
Yeah, it was my
Oh
first
my
time.
god.
But because my
Okay.
husband's a teacher, he used to be a teacher, so that helped a lot. Yeah, I have seen a couple of times when he would teach, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. I should do that. Freedom within guidance, I would say that because before this class, I would do things instinctively. So I didn't even know why do I do this? Why do I think this is good? So actually, I did a lot of research while I was doing the classes because I needed to know what is the logic behind why I do certain
Mm.
things. And I actually discovered a lot of, oh, so that's actually why I do this. And it's something that I wanted to share with other people so that they know, oh, so this is the reason I do it. So they can skip a lot of steps. If I had known this many years ago, I would have been a lot faster in like developing my art style to what it is today. So I would say the concepts that will help jumpstart a lot of artists who create their own things and make it very aesthetically pleasing. And I still want them to keep their style, their art style. So I don't want them to compromise. If you enjoy drawing without outlines, go ahead, do it. Or if you enjoy creating textures and putting them all together in a way that's compositionally very beautiful, that's really great too. Take whatever concepts and see what works for you and what doesn't. At the end of the day, it really feels more like whatever is pleasing for you, you just go ahead and do it. Whatever you feel that helps your art, just take that and incorporate it into your own drawing style.
When do you feel the most rewarded doing what you do? I'm wondering if you've seen your student comics on Instagram outside of your coursework on Class 101.
I feel very proud when I see students work from day one. And then they come back and say, oh, the class was very fun and I learned a lot. And then 32 weeks down the road, I see their artworks and I'm like, wow, that's really amazing. The progress that you've made is insane. When I created this class, I would never have expected that. I was just sharing whatever I felt like I wanted to share. And then I see the student creating this piece that I would be really proud of. Yeah, these are the moments that really make me feel I'm really glad that I did this class. And there are a lot of students who share their works on Instagram, and I love that they are very proud of what they have drawn and they want to share it with the world. So that is something that I feel is very fulfilling about creating this class.
Any advice for aspiring artists and content creators who want to share their artworks on social media?
I would say just draw whatever you like to draw. Make sure whatever you are doing, you love it so much that whatever obstacle comes your way, you will feel motivated to push through it. A lot of times, I would say if I didn't love Tori and Samuel as much as I did now, I would actually be a lot more stressed out about all the things that are coming. When we have art blogs or like story blogs, that can be a little bit frustrating. It's basically our love for the characters that keeps us going. So make sure you really love what you do. It's easy to want to draw things that other people want you to draw. But I think ultimately, as the artist, it's best to do what inspires you.
Any updates that you guys want to share? Any new merch for Tori and Samuel or any upcoming project outside of Tori and Samuel or anything you'd like to share?
These guys will be coming out in August. And we are also producing this book with a partner, which is how to draw cute mythical creatures. It's a second part to our first book, which is how to draw cute animals. My husband loves mythical creatures, so it's something that I did because he really loves them. Yeah, the book will be out sometime in September. Yeah, September.
Okay.
So August, September.